Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ewok Village Live Chat. I'm really excited today to have Salacious Rum on. Hey there, Salacious.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, I'm not alone. I've got Bob with me today. Hope that's all right, Brandon. Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm here as well, Brandon. I can't let Salacious anywhere on his own, so we're both here, very present, really excited to chat Ewok with you today.
Awesome. I can't wait. It's pretty awesome that we've got an Ewok and Monkey-Lizard crossover stream. It sounds like one of those awesome comic events.
Yeah, we've got good relations, us monkey lizards with Ewoks. Really good relations. It's just as long as you don't try and eat me, we're all good.
No,
We're
like
all
I
good.
said, we consider you part of the tribe. Hey Zalu, what's up? Just gonna say hey to some people in the chat. Hey, Mr.
Hey,
Red.
Zalu. Hey, Rez.
John Ald, how's it going?
Hanging out.
Southern Comic Geek, what's up? Hey, Offworld Adam.
Mr. Adam.
Smirking Bear, how's it going?
Hey, Smirking.
Pete, what's up? Jonathan Redmond.
Hold on a minute, Brandon. We've got to speak to this Mr. Redmond. He keeps saying he's got monkey lizard meat in his freezer.
Oh,
We can't have this. We can't let this go on. Something needs to be done. Mr. Redmond, we're watching you. All right?
Dagoopa, how's it going?
Hey, Dagoopa.
Dave, Vintage Toy Rush, what's up?
Mr. Rush.
Mr. Zalu Bird.
Yonald.
So, having Salacious on, I remember seeing one of the first times I got a message on Twitter, and it was one of your little music videos that you did, and I was like, this is so entertaining. So I subscribed right away, and I've been watching. I find shorts really entertaining, and I've dabbled in it a little bit myself, but I haven't done much with it. But seeing those shorts and then the game streams that you do are super fun. All of the Telltale and like Batman and The Walking Dead, those have been really fun, and I pop in as soon as I get off work to check it out. But other than your YouTube channel, obviously you're a big fan of the Kowakian Monkey-Lizards like Salacious. So I was going to ask you what your Star Wars story is, and I wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself a little bit and what Star Wars has meant to you to some people in the chat if they're not, caught up on your story.
Sure thing. So I think the first thing just to say is, just to be clear, monkey lizards, all they care about is having fun. That's it. So the Salacious Rum YouTube channel is a bit of a crazy channel. It's got a mixture of stuff on, but it is literally just, all we try to do is bring smiles, have a laugh, be a bit silly, and that's about it. So but it did all start around Star Wars, like I think it did for most of us. So God, I was born in 79, so I'm early 40s now. So OG, although obviously I wasn't old enough really to fully appreciate Star Wars and Empire. I think my first recollection of Star Wars was the old VHS tapes, which you probably aren't familiar with. No, you are, because I've seen you've been collecting them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've started getting them.
So back then, we used to have half a dozen old tapes, Brandon, and we'd have to record things off the TV, and then you'd have to get some Tipex and Tipex over the name of what was on it previously. And I just used to obsess over Star Wars. Used to play it over and over, and I think Star Wars is one of those. It's a phenomenon, really, that appeals to so many groups of people. It's a family. It's a family saga, but it's set in space. It's a Western. It's got a hero's journey with Luke. It's got the scoundrel that everyone wants to be in Han. Plus, it's got crazy creatures. Massive, great big space creatures, and then little scallywags like these little monkey lizards. And it was Return of the Jedi that did it for me. Return of the Jedi was something else when it came out. I remember collecting I'm sure there'd be other people that did this, collected the old Panini stickers. You used to get your sticker book and go down the shop and collect the stickers and stick them in the book. Trying to collect all the stickers and seeing all the new spaceships that were being shown in Return for the first time. The introduction of the B-Wing and some of the calamari ships we'd never seen before. And then Jabba's Palace. I mean, Jabba's Palace is nuts, if you think about it.
Yep.
So you've got this cartel led by a giant slug who can't really move around much. He just sits on his podium. He's got a little monkey lizard pet that just sort of giggles and sneaks and sniggles. And he's got his own private dancers, which is awesome. Who doesn't want that? He's got a giant monster in his dungeon that'll eat people he doesn't like. And so that whole Jabba's scene was just, for me, is the pinnacle of Star Wars. So that's the basic intro into the OG. Well, we then went into the dark times, really, Brandon, and I think in the dark times, a lot of us sort of became teenagers and got into music and skateboarding and football and other things. I think my next recollection of Star Wars then was probably Shadows of the Empire, N64 time. And that comic came out and the game on the N64. That rekindled a bit of the old Star Wars love. There you go. So I went on a bit of a collecting binge on Shadows a few years ago and got the soundtrack and the novel. And they made a set of cards as well, collector cards that are like gold and shiny and luminous. And of course the figures. So in the Power of the Force 2 line, they released Jizor and Chewie in the crazy outfits. And there's a speeder bike. So I collected all of that stuff. And that was the first kind of, I think, mid-90s kind of Star Wars. Oh, is it back? I don't know. And then, of course, we had the prequels, which was a strange period, 1999.
Yeah.
I was at university at the time, up in Sheffield, not far from where Dark Mark lives. And didn't really know what to make of it, the prequels. Yeah. But I think by the time Revenge of the Sith came out, I think Revenge of the Sith is an absolute masterpiece. I think Revenge of the Sith is such a huge story in its scale. It's massive. The world building. I think George Lucas is a visionary. And people say he's a bad writer, but he wrote the whole scope of that story. So he can't be a bad writer. He might have trouble with dialogue, but I think he's a brilliant writer. And then just to end off my Star Wars story, then Brandon, it was the Disney acquisition that really brought things back. It was like, my God, are we going to get more Star Wars? And it was literally that Disney acquisition I started collecting again.
Yeah. And
in England we have car boot sales and toy fairs, and I just started. I got embroiled in the hype. And started going around all the car boot sales and the toy fairs. There's a big toy fair in Birmingham called the NEC, which I know Vintage Rush goes to, I think. And Empire, Aaron always has a stall there. And I've been collecting ever since. So
awesome. Yeah. Hey, Sleeping. I want to say car
Hi,
boot,
Sleeping.
Clink's in here.
Do you have car boots in America?
No, not really. The first time I had really heard of it was when Mark was telling me about it. And no, we have a lot of garage sales and yard sales and stuff like that and flea markets, but not car boots that I'm familiar with.
So I got to myself where I would consider myself pro level car boot buyer. I'll be up first thing in the morning, little torch, and this is why monkey lizards are good. They were literally Salacious would be in someone's boot before they've even emptied it, scouring around to see what they've got. And I've had some big scores at car boot sales, and that's why I started YouTubing. Really, it was I saw lots of people doing car boot videos, and I thought, I'm going to do that. I never quite got around to doing that, and then we went into lockdown. So
Yeah.
But car boots are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to go see stuff like that. And I know John from Super Awesome Geek Show was saying that one of the toy type fairs they had, it was pretty much like a car boot in Florida, because they had people pull up with stalls, and it sounded quite a bit like a car boot. So that's when I first heard about that. But it is sleeping. Garage sales are a wild idea to explain to others overseas. Car boots sound way better.
Reed 5 said a word that Salacious can't even pronounce. I don't even know what a ventriloquist is, Reed 5. What is that? What is it? You're having me on. You're having me on.
Hey, John Joker, how's it going?
Hey, John.
Aaron, Cold Bane Games, how's it going? Tez, Ewoks and Monkey-Lizards. Yeah, it could get pretty crazy.
Although I've got to say, Brandon, I've met a lot of Ewoks in my time, and you're the least hairy Ewok I've ever seen. What happened? Have you had a full body shave?
Yeah. There was a crazy accident when I was on the forest moon of Endor, and a stormtrooper poured acid on me. Hey, Stumbler.
Shocked him there. You've shocked him.
Everybody's just saying hey to each other. Yeah, the tallest Ewok. Yeah, the acid reacted with my skin, and I grew.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
6'3".
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, you're the right Ewok to have on the team, I think.
Yeah. Where's the porg love, though? I have some little black series porgs hiding somewhere around here. I put them different places in my room to give me a chuckle.
Oh, we're pro porg around here. We've got porgs everywhere. Salacious loves porgs. So yeah, we're definitely on the pro porg camp.
Yeah, I forgot about us Zalu birds. Hey, Destination Stone. Was it TK421, that bastard? Yeah. No, Tez, we don't spit roast porgs here. Still can't believe Chewbacca.
Although, I have to say, that porg that he was roasting, it did look good, didn't it? He had some special marinade on that. Yeah. He was barbecuing that up nicely. Even Salacious was drooling looking at that. It did look good. I have to give him credit.
Yeah.
Where did he get seasoning and stuff like that from? He must have had something in the Falcon, I reckon. Yeah, for sure.
I blame Lando for blowing up the Death Star and causing a nuclear winter on Endor.
Yes, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Morning, guys. Hey, Hawkspot Collecting. How's it going?
Hey, Hawk.
Definitely a shaved down Wookiee. I have a porg, too. Nice. Salacious, have you seen us Zalu birds before?
Yeah, we love a good Zalu. As long as they don't come and peck your eyes out, they're all good.
KFC secret spices.
Yum.
Isn't everyone 6'3"? Could you imagine if every Ewok was 6'3"?
Yeah, it'd be undefeatable, wouldn't they? They'd basically be Wookiees, though, wouldn't they?
Right. Yeah, they would.
Which is what I think what they were supposed to be in the first place. But Bob, what do you think Chewie carries around in his bag? Spices and beers. Exactly. That's it. We've solved it. His bandolier does not contain ammunition. It's there on hand for a good barbecue.
Suspension of disbelief have said, and there's no puppets here, just two content creators.
Puppet? What's a puppet? What's a puppet, Brandon? Don't answer.
No. They were spice smugglers, so I'm sure they pinched. Yeah.
Oh, that's a different kind of spice. That's your Friday night spice. They're very different.
Wookiees. I'd imagine a Wookiee was introduced into their gene pool at some point. So my mom was an Ewok and my dad was a Wookiee. All right. So with that, other than your Star Wars story, I wanted to ask you a couple questions, because I know from seeing your shorts and stuff like that and watching the 3 Men and a Monkey Lizard, I've seen some of the other stuff that you get, and you it seems like you collect, bits and pieces of a lot of different pop culture stuff. So I wanted to ask, what is your favorite non-Star Wars line to collect?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm living at the moment in a 1-bedroom flat, so my collection is in a series of storage units, and I am trying to move house. So one day I will do a full collection video. But you're not wrong. I don't just collect Star Wars. Matt's the universal collector, because he collects lots of different things. I'm on that thread. So I suppose if you go in a linear fashion, after Star Wars, it was He-Man, and I had a lot of He-Man growing up, and I've been and recollected that. So I've got quite a few of the vintage line. I've got Castle Grayskull, and probably most of the main collection. Thundercats as well. I love awesome. Thundercats. I've got a ton of those. Mask, I absolutely loved Mask. I am trying to. Mask lost me when it started to get all boy racery, and I preferred the first couple of seasons. So I have been attempting to go back and rebuy some of that. Boulder Hill is high up on my list. We then went into the 90s. Turtles, I was kind of into. The Turtles movie I quite liked. I think it's a bit of a B movie gem. So yeah. I've got quite a few of the original vintage Playmates Turtles, and also there were some crazy bootleg Turtles at the time called Turtle Fighters. I don't know if you've seen those.
Okay, no, I haven't.
So I've got the line of Turtle Fighters. I love bootleg figures, by the way. And then we were in like the 90s period, and it was like sort of late 80s, early 90s, and it was a time where there was all these crazy action figures that were all 18 rated, but us kids were all watching them. So there was like RoboCop, Predator, Aliens.
Yeah.
I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I've now been going back, buying up all of that merch. So all the Aliens figures, the RoboCop merch. So I love all that stuff. Aliens, I love. I've got a ton of NECA Aliens, and I quite like all the little Super 7 stuff they do now. Have you seen all the 3 3/4 Alien figures you can get?
Yeah, I have.
I quite like all that stuff. And then I quite like random stuff, have you ever seen Mad Balls before, Brandon?
No.
So they're like, they're basically like baseball size, but they've got like horrible faces, like pus coming out of their face or eyes, an eye missing. And they're very collectible now, and some of them are quite expensive.
Okay.
I love Transformers, Battle Beast, GoBots, and Transformers. So I've got a ton. I haven't got the whole Battle Beast collection. I know people like Andy's Toys and Models has got the whole line. I haven't got the whole line, but I've probably got 20 or 30 of them. A lot of GoBots, which is basically the cheap version of Transformers. I've got the whole Rock Lord line. Have you ever seen those?
No.
So it's good. It's funny that people have been taking the mick out of this rock in the High Republic.
Yeah.
But when we were kids, we had a whole toy line that were rocks, transforming rocks. And they are basically plastic rocks. That is the gimmick, and it transforms into a robot. So loved the Rock Lords. And there was a crossover cartoon called GoBots versus the Rock Lords. There's a bit of Saturday morning viewing for you one day. That's worth a watch. And then I do love my G1 Transformers. Again, I've not got all of them, but I've got quite a few of the first couple of waves. So Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, a lot of the planes, and a lot of the smaller cars and stuff like that. So I'm always collecting And I love little figures. Do you ever have them? Do you ever seen the Muscle Men?
I have. Yep.
I've got a ton of Muscle Men. Just weird stuff like that. Biker Men from Mars. Boglins. I've got a Boglin collection, believe it or not. I don't know, anything. I collect everything. Computer games is the other big thing. I've got literally that was when I first started collecting at the car boot sales, just getting loads of retro computer games. So I wanted to have every games console and a television that matched the era. So I've got a storage locker full of old TVs that match every console, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome.
Because you can get them really cheap, so you can get, because no one wants these big tube TVs,
right?
So you can get like Bang & Olufsen like vintage TVs for like 20 or 30 quid, and they were like in the thousands in their day. So yeah, I think it's probably collector's probably not a word. Hoarder is probably a better word, I would say.
That's awesome.
And Cudbane saying Boglins are making a comeback. Yes, they are, and I backed them on Kickstarter. So we get the first delivery of the latest line of Boglins being delivered as we speak, I think.
Cool. I'll have to check those out. What do you collect? Everything in the 80s.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. Yeah, and I just recently started collecting just this past a little over a year ago. So everything in mine is pretty modern, except the vintage Star Wars figures that I started getting, and I'm super excited to go start getting those. And Andy Lemire from Holo Chronicles has sent me a couple of the Star Wars collecting books, the hardcovers, and I recently ordered the Red 5, the Kenner book that's the size of my torso. So I'm super excited for that.
No, I totally envy you. You're at the best. It's the best period is when you start collecting. When you've been collecting a while, your collection starts to own you and consume you, and you have nowhere to store it, and it becomes it gets a bit wild.
Yeah.
So I actually think there's something to having smaller foci. That's why Ewoks is a really good one to focus on, because there's tons of Ewok merch. I'm looking forward to talking later to you about Ewok merch, because there's tons.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because the only Ewoks I have are the Ewok Funko Pop and the Ewok cell that John from Super Awesome Geek Show sent me. Those are the only Ewoks I even have in my collection. So I have a low gray vintage now, but those are the only ones I have in my collection so far.
So the good thing about the Ewoks is you obviously had. Sorry, someone's ringing my buzzer. I'm just ignoring them. I think it's Star Toys actually with a delivery. But anyway, good thing of Ewoks is you've got the vintage Ewoks to collect, and there's a few harder ones, and then there's some real common ones. And the common ones, Low Grey, T-Bow, and Chief Chirper and Wicket, are easy to army build. Like you can collect, you can get them so cheap. But then they obviously released the Ewoks cartoon. So you've got those are expensive. The Juloks, the Shamans, they're quite expensive.
Right.
But then they released a comic line in the late 80s as well, an Ewoks comic line. And in Spain, they made vinyl Ewok figures to go along with the cartoons. So you've got a whole line of comic-based Ewok figures there. Yeah. Which are really fun to collect. And then to go along with the Ewok comic, don't get me started on. I'll come back to that Red 5. But to go along with the Ewok animated series, there's tons of merch. Tons. There's Ewok teddy bears, lunch boxes, alarm clocks, phones. You literally name it, and you can get it with an Ewok on it. Mostly Wicket.
Right.
So it's but speaking of that Red 5, if Salacious is not in the first volume, we better hope there's a second volume. Else he'll be mortified.
I have 7 coming. Ooh, I'm excited to add some Ewoks to my collection. That's awesome.
Yeah. You get the village as well, and there's the vintage village, but there's also a play school village.
Yep.
And there's the play school figures to collect as well. I've got some of those. They're really cute. So there's a ton of really good Ewok merch. It's a really good focus. Let's.
Hey, John. Fight the power, support your local monkey lizard.
Damn right. Support us. Don't spit roast us. Support us.
And then we've got to get people to 3D print monkey lizard if we want one, because Hasbro is cheap and teases us. Yeah, I'd really like to see. We're going to talk a little bit about, and you're going to show off your custom Ewoks, and we're going to talk about some of those Ewoks. But I was just thinking about that earlier. Was with 3D printing, you could probably make your own and paint them and stuff. So that's another really cool way to make a little army of Ewoks.
Well, I've got some already. Yeah, you're not wrong. So here is this is a 3D print of the Sideshow Salacious Rum. I've got the Sideshow version, and it's a couple of £100. The Sideshow version It comes with some other, but there are other smaller models, and Oakhurst Studios has printed a load of little ones for me. And I know Chris Prillo's on the case as well. So I to be honest, the whole 3D printing is a rabbit hole that I'm trying to stop myself from falling into, because you can literally make anything, can't you?
Yeah, I've thought about getting a printer, but I don't know that much about it, and I feel like once I did learn about it, it would be a deep, dark rabbit hole.
Yes.
So let's see, Gianni. What is
that? So basically, when I restarted collecting, my focus was Ewoks, which is why I'm so passionate about Ewoks, and we can talk a lot about Ewoks later.
Yeah.
But then I transitioned onto monkey lizards, and monkey lizard merch is harder to come by, but the custom action figure world is a really good little underground community. It's something I'm quite involved in, and I love buying custom and bootleg action figures, mostly custom. So these are custom crumb cards made by various artists. I've got a stack of these to show you later.
Cool.
So yeah, they're absolutely fantastic, and not expensive either, and they're all made by pretty well-established customizers that are quite well known in the scene. I'll show you some of the other ones I've got later, but they're just a lot of fun. But no, I did not. I haven't got any talent, Gianni. I've got no talent, so I couldn't draw anything like that, I'm afraid.
Hey, Blacked Out Ewoks, how's it going? And Sean Solo 8, nice to see you guys here.
Now he's got a crazy collection, the BOE. He's got some crazy stuff. Love to see a full collection tour from BOE one day. And that's the thing about collecting. No matter how much of a collection you think you've got, you'll always meet other people that are just take it next level.
Right.
BOE's one of those. He's a next level collector for sure. He's got some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've had a couple people reach out and say, like, you should do a collection video, and it's like it's pretty much right here. I'm just getting started. Like it.
Well, it's not about quantity. It's about the thrill of the hunt for me, like finding stuff. It's about the history behind it, and it's about enjoyment. You know, it's there are worse things that you could be, putting your mind and attention to. So it's a completely it's a harmless hobby. And I'm, and I think it's a bit of a cliche. People say collect what you like, and I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't feel like you have to get everything. Just get the things that you like and that appeal to you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, there's tons of stuff I could get right now, but I'm just getting the bits and pieces that I see, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'd really like to have that, and I've already, If it starts to get to the point where I don't see the stuff, if I have to start putting it in storage, I'm going to slow down, and because I like to be able to see it all, because I like to be able to turn around and see it and have it bring a smile to my face, and that's exactly why I'm collecting it right now.
Oh, I totally agree. The only reason mine's in storage is because I'm trying to move house. But
Right.
and to be honest, I've forgotten. I've been using some of these apps to try and log stuff, but I've forgotten about so much stuff that I've got. So when I eventually do move, I'll have a lot of fun setting up the monkey
Yeah.
lizard lair and doing a series of videos on that. So
Yeah. Just getting started. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm thinking about getting shelves and stuff, and there I still have stuff that's not Star Wars on the bottom parts of these shelves that I'm slowly phasing out and putting more Star Wars stuff on these shelves. So it's I started getting these Black Series helmets, so now I need to find even a little bit more space, and I'm gonna slide this bookshelf over. And I was thinking about getting those the cases, but my mom made a good point, and my uncle and I are probably gonna make one custom fit to make sure that the helmets fit in them. That's going to go right next to this bookshelf, so I can have all 5 of my helmets on display when they are all here. So,
that's cool. That's one thing I didn't ever really go down the helmet road. I think I've got a couple of the old Clone Wars ones, but they're more kind of like kiddie ones that I picked up at boot sales, you know. But no, yeah, helmets are cool. I've recently got my first Polish bootleg figure, which came in the post the other day. It doesn't look much that, but that was cost an arm and a leg. That bloody thing did. So that's a G1 Polish 80 driver. Oakhurst has got me into Bandai Sofubi Japanese figures, so I've been collecting.
okay.
I've been collecting these crazy vintage. This is a Kaiju.
Yeah.
Only in Japan. This is 1983 Bandai, and look at that crazy dude. Hello, hello. They're nuts. Some of these Japanese figures. So I've started collecting these now. Another blooming line to collect. In fact, this one's going to Vern though. Actually, in exchange for some 3D printed monkey lizards that he's making.
Cool. Zalu says your monkey lizard put in carbonite because you killed a Zalu bird.
Oh yeah, so this turned up the other day. I'll just move this around if I can. Check that out. That's awesome. This is from a prop maker in America called the Kowakian Monkey-Lizard Adoption Agency. And basically, he used to make animated monkey lizards. So animated versions of monkey lizards to sit on your shoulder. And he used to make them for cosplayers. So the cosplayers would walk around Star Wars Celebration with these monkey lizards sat on their shoulders. He doesn't make them anymore. And this was the only thing he had left on his store. And it's a big, solid lump of wood. I mean, it's bloody heavy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And this monkey lizard, it's latex, so it's quite soft. And I keep this kind of. Salacious doesn't really like it, I don't think. He keeps looking at it. Yeah, he's not too happy with me for having this, really. But I just thought it was a cool piece. But getting that shipped over from America cost an arm and a leg. And these blimmin' taxes now. Well, you think you've paid for something, and then you get a tax bill, a customs bill, and you're like, oh my god. But anyway, it's worth it, I think.
Find stuff I've forgotten about all the time.
Oh, he's one that's got a crazy collection. 1,000. Oh my god. Yeah. So I just love it watching his channel because you rock on and he just brings out a box. I was watching him the other day and he just here's a box, here's a case of Minty Fresh Power of the Force 2. It was Power of the Jedi figures he had. A Minty Fresh case. It was just a nonchalant way that he just picked it up. You know, and you bet your bottom dollar he's got hundreds of cases of Minty Fresh figures like that. So
Dave says, "Oh yes, bring on the Japan Shifubi."
Yeah, another nice collection is Dave's collection. And he gets pristine quality stuff. I quite like beaters. I don't know where you stand on this, Brandon, but I don't mind a beater. So
the farm boy Luke that I have right up here, there's like a chip missing out of his shoulder, and he's got quite a bit of hair rub. But no, to me, it's I think when you see that it's been used, I think that even adds more to the history of it, because it's like, this is a 40-year-old figure that was played with. So I like it, but I completely understand why most people like them to be, nice and minty.
Yeah. Like, I'm missing so many weapons. I just haven't been bothered. If I can get them, so I've been going back over the vintage line, getting them in AFA or UKG graded, because I've got a vintage line, well, not fully complete, but quite close to being complete. But I'm missing so many of the weapons. And I just can't be bothered to buy individual weapons for like 20 quid, or I just can't bring myself to do it. So I thought I'd go back and just get a cased set. Well, I'm working my way through it anyway. It's a bit of a long-term goal, I think, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think I've got about 18 vintage figures right now.
Yeah.
And I've got some more on the way. So it is going to be a slow process. And I know, like, Darth Mark has said multiple times that he, I believe it's the 4th time he's collected them, and he's 2 away from completing it. So that's.
Yeah, and I think he's right when he talks about being patient as well. Like, you could just blow your credit card on a stack of them, but it's not sensible. You've got to live within your means, and also, once you've got them all, you'll then just move on to something else, because you'll be like, well, I've got them all now. So I think there is something to biding your time and bargain hunting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's fun too, because you go on eBay, and sadly I don't have anywhere near me where I can go and try to find these out in the wild. But going on eBay and bidding into auctions and trying to get it at a low price, that's pretty fun. It's kind of an adventure all to itself.
I've had a lot of success on Facebook Marketplace. Just some unbelievable. So there's some lines that I never had as a kid, but I've always been interested in. Ghostbusters I never had, real Ghostbusters, and Jurassic Park I never had.
Oh, yeah.
And just before the lockdown, I saw a Facebook Marketplace advertised. I could see, some JP figures and stuff in there, and I went out, and they literally had the first generation of Jurassic Park. They had the T-Rex, the cars. Cool. They had a ton of stuff. And then I said, have you got anything else? And she was like, well, we've got some Ghostbusters stuff. And I was like, well, bring it out then. And they had the bloody Ghostbusters building with all of the accessories, the sign and the Ecto car. And I bought it all there and then, not for a really low price. In fact, there's a video on my channel, one of my first pickup videos, shows that haul. Cool. So I think luck plays a bit of a part in getting some of the bargains as well.
Yeah. Sadly, it's about to be garage sale season now that the weather's starting to be nice and the snow is mostly gone. But I don't expect to find any sort of Star Wars or vintage toys or any, pop culture, anything at the garage sales up here. So sadly, most of my shopping is online.
Well, you never know, and you've got to be in it to win it. And so as part of it, you can go to 4 boot sales in a row and not really get much, but then on the 4th one or the 5th one, you get a gem. So, and then you've got a rummage as well. Aaron from Empire Toys is a world-class rummager. So he'll get on his hands and knees rummaging through all the bags and boxes, at a car boot sale, and we'll rummage through 3 or 4 boxes and then find one vintage weapon that's worth 20 quid, So you've got to be prepared to get in the dirt and get messy if you want to find the bargains.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Darth Mark has suggested me getting job lots and stuff like that to try to find some of the figures that might be worth more, and just get some of the ones where you might find one of the weapons, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally. If you buy the odds collection, you can get really good value. So I bought a collection of Clone Wars stuff a few years ago, which now looking back was just an incredible buy, because I've got a couple of turbo tanks, a couple of MT carriers, 3 or 4 arc gunships, and I mean a lot of the weapons and stuff are missing, but and I did, I think I bought a collection for a couple of £100, but if you split all those bits out and you were to sell them all individually, you'd easily double your money. So that's not a bad way of doing it at all.
Right. Hey, Rebels, Reptiles, and Games. How's it going? I have all the vintage Star Wars figures except a few from the final 17. Not much weapons, though. Yeah.
I like reptiles. Lizards. Reptiles, good. Reptiles are good.
John Joker says, Mr. Rum, we need more figures to sing those classic songs.
Yeah, I love music. So, so in my university days, I used to go on the northern club scene and would DJ quite a bit, and so I love music. So that's why I like shorts, because with the shorts you can try and match up a record to the figure or to the collectible, and try and have some kind of vague link. Yeah. And I don't care that. To be honest, that you're not going to make any money from them, because I don't do my YouTube channel for money, really. And I don't mind if an artist gets royalties for me using their music. I think that's pretty cool. So, and quite a few people have commented on my shorts, oh, what record is that? That's awesome. So if you get to introduce new music to people, that's even cooler.
Yeah, that is cool. And I wanted to mention this because did you see that they're doing a big update to the YouTube Shorts thing?
Yeah, they keep doing little bits. So they're in this beta program, and my app keeps changing. Every now and again, I don't know if yours does the same, but the layout of the app looks a bit different, and the short player looks a little bit different. So be interesting to see where we end up with that.
Yeah, they had a list of all of the different record labels and stuff where their music will be available to use without any issues now, which was pretty crazy. I watched a video the other day about that, explaining some of the changes. So if you haven't, I'm trying to think of the channel. It's one of the big channels that talks about, YouTube Shorts and how,
probably like TubeBuddy or something like that.
Yeah. But I know that Darth Vader with Orson Krennic short that I did, it was almost 5,000 views, and it's I think 16, 17 seconds. So it's pretty crazy how those shorts can help direct traffic to your channel. And I had so many comments on the shorts, but then on TikTok, it's like the views are just not happening there. And I haven't done them in a while, but I think they're fun, which is exactly why I do it.
Yeah, so I think I signed up to something the other day, or I was asked if I wanted to sign up to it, and I did just to check it out. I think it's called Insta Influencer or something, and it basically measures your reach across all the social media platforms.
Okay.
Because I put my videos on all the platforms. I don't care, so if I do a short, it will go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And so it might only get, there might be one short that only gets, 100 views on YouTube, but I've had some on Instagram get a couple of thousand, or vice versa. I've had a couple really blow up on YouTube, and then hardly get any views on TikTok. So
right,
it's I don't think there's a rhyme nor reason. It is what it is, and you got to roll with it, I think. I don't think about it too much. I just make stuff that's fun.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I know during your stream when we were playing Battlefront a little bit yesterday, you talked about we talked about the Black Series figures that came out, and you mentioned that you were a big fan of the Star Wars comics.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you what your favorite Star Wars comic or novel / book is.
Yeah, so I think there's sort of 3 lines for me. There's the Shadows of the Empire kind of line with those comics, figures, novel, music. That was my first Well, actually, I had some of the old school Marvel Star Wars comics, but they're nuts. I mean, that they were never canon. They're always a bit crazy. I'll go back and collect some of those. But if you're talking about more serious, I think Shadows of the Empire, Dark Empire, I absolutely love. I've got all of those comics. I think that's awesome. And to be honest, there's a bit of Dark Empire and Rise of the Skywalker. They took stuff from Dark Empire and put it. They just didn't execute Rise very well, which was a shame because it could have been. It could have been so much better. But I don't hate on the sequels at all. They are what they are, and I got wrapped into the hype as much as everyone else. And I bought all the bloody figures, the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. I bought everything. So, also so Shadows of the Empire, Dark Empire. I like. What else? I like the Old Republic stuff. I like some of the Old Republic comics. I loved KOTOR, so I love some of the material that came out in that era. I want somebody to teach me how to play Old Republic properly. I noticed. I don't know if you know. Tina's been popping up in my chat, and I noticed she's got a lot of Old Republic videos on her channel. So I was hoping I can find somebody that can walk me through the Old Republic because I never really got into that. I loved KOTOR, but I never really got into Old Republic.
Right. I started playing the Old Republic, and it just some of those MMO RPGs just they don't keep my attention very long because there's almost so much to do in them that it's overwhelming. But I started to stream Knights of the Old Republic, but it was nothing but issues on my OBS. Streaming, and apparently there are different settings you have to change and everything, but I just couldn't get it to work. So I'm gonna have to try that again because it's a super fun game, and I've never been able to finish the first or the second one. But that's something I'm definitely gonna have to check out. But that's awesome.
So I love Revan. Malgus, I think, is a badass. I've got this Malgus statue locked up somewhere, which is awesome. And then in terms of new stuff, of the new canon, well, it's probably wasn't canon, but it was on the verge. Lords of the Sith, I really liked. The Revenge of the Sith novel, I thought was incredible. And then of the newer stuff, Catalyst, I love Rogue One, and I got totally sucked into Catalyst. In fact, I read Catalyst, and I also listened to the audiobook of Catalyst just before the film came out, and that got me quite invested in Rogue One. Actually, I thought it was a really good story.
Yeah.
What else? Lost Stars, I read. Bit of a multi-generational love story, really, I think, but quite sweet. I've just bought all the High Republic stuff because I never buy into all the hype. Well, I do buy into all the hype, but I never buy into all the negative hype, particularly if people haven't read the bloody books. You know, read the book, and then make up your own mind rather than so. I have actually on the face of it, I don't actually see what the problem is with this character being a rock. I mean, we've seen the Bendu, wasn't he a rock? The Bendu was a crazy. I mean, we've had crazy stuff in Star Wars. We've got a bloody slug that lives in sand, the Sarlacc. We've got space whales, Purgils. We've got monkey lizards, for God's sake. I mean, if you imagine, if your imagination can't fathom that there could be a sentient kind of rock, then you've got no imagination, I don't think. And it doesn't take me. It isn't a great leap for me to think that could be quite amusing, especially as I've heard that the whole point of it is it's a bit of a gag.
It is.
So you know this rock is doing stuff, but you never see him doing it. Yeah. So it's like so I could see how that could be quite funny. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't translate well to the page. I don't know. Maybe it might be more funny on screen.
Well, it's. I think people just try to take it too seriously, and they don't see that it's supposed to be humorous. And the thing is, people are trying to find any way they can to bash these authors because they want to find any excuse to hate the recent Star Wars stuff, and it really is too bad.
I mean, I've got the entire Rock Lord collection from the late 80s, and they are literally transforming rocks. In fact, some of the later Rock Lords, what are they called? They're furry rocks. They're rocks and they've got fur on them. In fact, there's even a Rock Lord vehicle. So there's a Rock Lord vehicle. There are Rock Lords that drive a rock car, believe it or not, in the Bandai Rock Lord series. So. But I haven't read these books yet, so I will. It's what have I got? Light of the Jedi, Claudia, which is Charles Soule, and I think he's written good books in the past.
Yeah.
Into the Dark is Claudia Gray, and she's got a good track record. So I'll give them a go, and then I'll let you know what I think.
Yeah, I honestly can't recommend them enough. I've had an awesome time reading them. I've got all of them right there so far, and I've got a signed copy of them all. So I've got everything ordered for it. I'm super excited for that part of the timeline.
The only thing that doesn't jump out at me about this campaign is the artwork. I think the artwork of Old Republic was badass. I mean, Darth Malgus just looks Malgus, and who's the other one? Malak.
Yep.
Some of the costumes, if you go to KOTOR, I mean, some of those designs are insane. Mm-hmm. They just look mental. 100% badassery. That's what I want. Badassery in my Star Wars, Brandon. I want badassery too.
Yeah, and I think
give me the badass.
I would agree that I like that style, but the fact that this is leading up, and it's the gilded, very sophisticated Jedi, like I think that like the airbrushed and gold and everything, I think it fits the context of it really well. And I know some people, like Josh from the Hollow Chronicles, the artwork for this isn't his favorite, and I absolutely see why. And I think it's interesting how at each level of reader the artwork changes. Like the lower one, it's like super animated, kid friendly. The mid grade, what is that one called?
Is it Trust of Courage?
Test of Courage.
Test of Courage, yeah.
Justina Ireland, that one's the animated, and then the Into the Dark and Light of the Jedi. It's a different style, but I like how each one is separated.
Do you know, I had never thought of that, and I think what you've said is spot on, actually. It's the gilded era of the Republic. So it is more sophisticated, more polished, maybe. So I think you're right. That makes a lot of sense to me. So, yeah, fair play.
Keith saying hey to everyone. Smirking Bear said, "I hope they kind of hope they do High Republic figures myself." Yeah, I would really like to see them in figures. I think the Jedi of this era look really cool, and like a Wookiee Jedi figure would be absolutely awesome. Like a deluxe Briaga would be perfect.
Yeah, the Acolyte really has got me interested. So I hope that the Acolyte is the precursor to Plagueis and Palpatine. I hope it's Tenenbaum. Is it Not Tenenbaum? What's his name? The crazy looking who's Plagueis' Tenebrus. Yep. I hope it's him. And Plagueis, because the moons live a long time. So I hope it's that. Would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Talon.
Yeah.
Darth Talon. Ooh.
Salacious approves.
You know what I mean, don't you, Brandon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. So, we've talked about a bunch of different characters, but what is your favorite non-monkey lizard character?
Ooh. So I think us kids were pretty split down the middle. You either you either looked to the hero, Luke, or you looked to the rascal Han. And I think I'm in the Han camp. Although the light say Luke in Return of the Jedi, so Luke Jedi Knight is a hard one to top, really.
Yeah.
So I like Star Wars Han Solo and Empire Strikes Back Han Solo, but I like Return of the Jedi Luke.
Okay.
Because it's just he's at the end of his hero's journey, really, and it is the return of the Jedi, and it's just Return of the Jedi for me is the best Star Wars film. I know it's not. I know technically it's not, and it's a bit daft in places, but for me, it's the best one. It's the culmination of the hero's journey, and Luke, returns the status of the Jedi, if you like, and defeats Palpatine by appealing to his father's human side. Yep. And redeems his father. You can't really get a more emotional. I'm almost choking up now thinking about it. You can't even you can't. It's impossible, I think, to beat that story. And I think that's one of the problems that the sequel trilogy has. Is how could you top that? It's just such a perfect story. So I think early Han when he was a scoundrel. But then Luke at the end. So there you go.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think for original trilogy, it has to be, Jedi Luke for me. But I was a kid of the prequels, and it's funny because a lot of people are surprised at what my answer of my favorite character in all of Star Wars, and it's Qui Gon Jinn.
Ah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a shame that Qui Gon has not. Well, I hope Qui Gon appears in the Obi-Wan series.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they've not continued Qui Gon's story. There is a part two to his story, if you like, and I think that's him teaching Obi-Wan from the netherworld of the Force. It's so I really hope Liam Neeson comes back for that, and we get some kind of Force ghost teaching or something.
Yeah, and I think he'd be in it when he was doing that interview where he showed off the lightsaber and stuff like that. I have a feeling they'll bring him in because they did do some Qui-Gon stuff in the Clone Wars with those last couple episodes that they did of season 6 where he's talking to Yoda. But I think it would be really cool to have Ian McGregor and Liam Neeson kind of working together again.
Yeah. And Palps, what a legend Palpatine is. I mean, if you literally think about how he plotted out everything, I mean, what an absolute legend, to be honest. He's a Sith legend, y'all. What an absolute legend. Have you seen Camray's music video? The what was it called? The Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah. Oh
my god, I have got that video on. I have had that on repeat.
Yeah.
I love Camray. That is such a brilliant video.
Yeah.
If anyone in the chat has not seen that, go to Camray's YouTube channel. He's a genius as far as I'm concerned, and a top guy to boot. And watch his video, his music video, I can't even say it. The Tragedy. I've not said that very well. Of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It is pure comedy gold.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat. His humor is absolutely amazing, and the other one that gets me is his Star Wars Twitter song.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Hey Gilster, do I open Rio?
Hey Gilly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do it. Zalo's excited for Bad Batch. Tina, I'm a little late playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh,
there we go. were just talking about that, Tina.
I was just talking about you, Tina, because I met Tina in one of my streams the other day. And Tina's got a huge YouTube channel. She's got over 6,000 followers, massive. And I was looking at your Old Republic videos, Tina, and I was just saying to Brandon how I loved KOTOR because I played that on the original Xbox and got really immersed into that. But I never really got into the Old Republic, and I need somebody to teach me. And I was saying to Brandon, I wonder if Tina would teach me how to coach me through the Old Republic. So there you go. I've asked online, so you can't say no.
Get a flashback of Padawan Obi-Wan with Liam. Also be nostalgic for me. I'd probably cry.
Yeah, I think I'd cry too, to be honest. It would just be so emotional.
Chris, have you seen the video? It was Palpatine all along. I haven't.
Yes.
Oh,
I have.
I'll have to find that.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Mr. Rum, why did you pull C-3PO's eye out on the bar?
To be honest, we like us monkey lizards. We quite like shiny things, and well, B-Crumb was a bit of a naughty monkey lizard anyway. To be honest, so most of us monkey lizards don't go around pulling people's eyes out, but droid eyes are a bit different. So I'm always tempted.
Let's see here. I think I got to all of the questions that I wanted to ask you for your Star Wars story, your favorite non-monkey lizard character, your favorite comic or novel, and non-Star Wars lines to collect. So I thought now would be a good time to talk about some of the Ewoks that you were telling me about.
Yeah, so so Ewoks were when I started collecting again, I went heavy on Ewoks. So I'm going to try and share my screen. And I hope this works. Application window. Let's try that.
Yep.
Yay. Okay. So, God, I'm a former teacher, Brandon. So it's death by PowerPoint, mate. I'm afraid. So if at any point you want to bug out of this, just say I won't be offended.
No, you're all good.
But I thought I'm really into custom action figures, and the godfather of custom action figures is this guy called the Suck Lord. He's got a strange name, I know, but he was the first person ever. Well, actually, the first thing he did was he was the first person to sample Star Wars sound effects into breakbeat music. So he released a Star Wars breakbeat album years ago that got him a bit of fame, and he's an artist, and he started making crazy customized action figures. So you can't get into customized action figures without going back to the Suck Lord, because he is the godfather, and these are his famous lines, the Suck Realm. And he basically takes Boba Fett figures and does crazy customs to them. But there's a whole community of customizers out there. Some of the best places to buy from are DKE Toys. Is can you still see that?
Oh, yep, that works.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Or not? Or is that not showing us anymore?
No, we're still showing. We're good.
Okay.
Yep.
So DKE Toys is basically a guy who buys up a load of these custom figures, and you can buy them from his website. And they have a con in America every year. So I got really into crazy customs. So these are just some photos of some of the stuff I bought over the years. So there's a Boba Fett Doctor Who Dalek. I love droids, so if ever I find custom droids, I always buy them up. That's a Ghost Rider R2 unit, and that's a pinball machine R2 unit that I bought from someone. I love gonk droids, so I've got a ton of random customized gonk droids. And then anything translucent. I know Toy Galaxy's into his translucent figures, but this is from Hands of Doom, who makes these translucent Wampers. So these are full-size molds of a vintage Wampa, and then he basically builds. He infills them with resins and creates these crazy Wampers. And then I love Xenos, so I've got a ton of Xenos. I'll show you some Xenos later. And then I found For the Love of Toys, who's an English customizer, and these are Thunderwoks and Ewoks. These are... The joints don't move on these, so they basically took Chief Chirper and Wicket casts, and then they're like clay cast or something, I think. So the arms and stuff don't move, but they're just super fun. They're super fun and not expensive. And this is another guy that does them. Destroy. What's he called? Destroy and rebuild. So he's got a ton of these. So I've got quite a few of these. This guy's awesome. He's from Barcelona. He's called J-Ban Toys, and he introduced this line of Carewoks. Josh Anderson might like these. So I bought the line of Carewoks, and then he said, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing giant ones." And he released these giant. So I've got a couple of these, and these are no joke. These are huge. I don't know how many inches, but they're bigger than Black Series anyway. Put it that way.
Wow.
So they're very heavy. So they're quite good fun. And then I met somebody online that he and I went into a rabbit hole. His name's Dengar Dave, absolute legend. He's from the north in England. He's got a Facebook page you can go and visit. I don't know if he's really doing much now. He hasn't been that active in a while. But there was a 2-year period where he and I were just chatting Star Wars all the time, and he was going, "Give me some feet." He was saying, like, "Come up with an idea, and I'll turn an Ewok into it for you." So this is the Justice Wok League. So all of these, I commissioned him. He made them. So he would go out, and these are all actual vintage figures. So he'd go out and he would get beaters, and then he would custom paint them, and then custom make all the weaponry and the bits and bobs. And then we'd agree a price, and he'd mail them out to me. So all of these I commissioned him to make for me. So this is the Justice Wok League. Look at Batman. Batman's a nutter. Look at Batman's cow. Absolute nuts. So then he was like, "Well, let's do some Star Wars ones." So this was like some of the first. Oh, we didn't have a Green Lantern. So the random Green Lantern there is supposed to go with the Justice Wok League.
Hey, Josh. There's Josh right there.
Yes. And then so this is obviously it's Chewie and Han and Obi-Wan, Darth Vader in Wicket form, another Chewie but in Wicket form, Luke Logray. Luke Logray is awesome. C-3PO Logray, and then there's a load of these spirit ones which are quite cool with this spirit paint. And then I collected muscle figures as a kid. I loved muscle. I still do. Super 7 still make them now, and they make He-Man muscle figures and alien xenomorph ones. So I said to Dave, "Can you make me some muscle woks?" And he was like, "What the hell are they?" And I was like, so I had to show him. So these are all in the pastel. All of these colors they released muscle figures in. And so then we started getting into. Then we started talking about Marvel, and so this is obviously Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yep.
Here's one for Darth Mark. What a beauty! What a beauty! What an absolute beauty! So these are a lot of fun. But we went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Here's the Ghostbusters. So we've got Slimer, obviously the full crew. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and what's that bloody dog thing called? I forgot what the dog's called. So the thing on the end is the dog from the crazy spirit dog. It will come to me in a minute.
Yeah.
Here you go again. Look at Slimer. Look at Slimer. That's a wicked Slimer.
I love it.
Here's a better look. What's that dog called? I can't remember. Anyway, then we thought, well, Monsterverse. So here you've got you've got some random ones. You've got the Mummy. You've got the Werewolk. You've got Frankenwok. This guy at the front is from Kiss. I can't remember what his name is.
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons. Draculewok. We had to come up with stupid names for them all.
Yeah.
And there's a mini Wampa. Here's more of the Monsterverse. So all of these are packed up in storage at the moment. So I literally got them from him, put them straight into storage so they wouldn't get damaged. There's a Deadpool. Some more of those. Yeah, Freddy. that's Wicket, believe it or not. That is a Wicket Freddy.
Oh boy.
Oh no, it gets worse. Hellraiser. Halloween, that's Jason Voorhees, isn't it?
Yeah.
His name is. Yeah. I was less keen on these, but Dave was like, "Oh no, trust me, they'll be awesome."
Yeah.
The guy on the end is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Leatherhead, yeah.
Yeah, Leatherhead. That's right. Then we went. Yeah, this Savage. These ones are awesome. I really like these. So we've obviously got Savage, and then you've got low grey Savage as well. We did the same with Maul. So there's Maul. And then the Xenos. So these are 3.75-inch Xenomorphs made by Super 7. You can buy them carded from Super 7 or Reaction, and they're like, I don't know, 10, 15 quid. But you can buy them on eBay direct from China, and it's the same manufacturer. So it's basically like after stock, and you can get them for 2 or 3 quid on eBay. I've bought hundreds of them, Brandon. I've got hundreds of these bloody Xenomorphs, and so I got Dave to start customizing the Xenos as well. So I've got a ton of Xenos here to show you as well. So when I eventually when I do get my display set up, there will be an intermingling of different types of aliens. It won't just be Star Wars. There'll be random stuff in the display. So this is obviously a Darth Maul Xeno.
Yeah.
Savage Xeno. It's based off of the old canon design, but the old canon design was an 18-inch figure, and these are 3.75. The 18-inch one, the vintage one to get now, is a couple of £100. Is a couple of £100 quid. And the dome is often missing. I think Vintage Toy Rush has one. That's on my Grail list to get one of the vintage Kenner.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, they released it and then they recalled it pretty quickly because it scared kids in the 70s when they released it. And then here's a set of. So I said today, can I have one of the Cantina aliens for each Xeno? So you've got. So we've got here Greedo, Snaggle, Walrus Man, and Hammerhead. And then the silver guy is the Death Star droid.
Yeah.
So there's Hammer. There's Walrus Man. Look at the Xeno. Look at the Xeno Walrus. Look at the paint is just awesome on his tongue. Yeah. Just so cool. And then there's Snaggle, Greedo, and there's the Death Star droid. And then Dave phoned me and he said, I found these knockoff Hulkbusters on AliExpress or something. Yeah. I was thinking about doing an R2 and a C-3PO. Are you up for it? So basically what would happen is if I said yes, then he'd buy 2 lots. One set for himself, one set for me. And basically from me basically paying a markup for his work and stuff, he'd get his for free basically, plus a bit of profit. So I said yeah, and these are awesome. These are massive, by the way. So this is Hulkbuster R2 and Hulkbuster C-3PO.
That's awesome.
And then, we were kind of coming to the end now. There is a Swamp Thing Ewok there that I bought from Joseph Hammerhead Customs, and they delivered it to Dave's house, which is why it's on that photo, because it then got sent to me. There's a Hulk Ewok there. This was a custom he did for somebody else. There's a girl in America, I've forgotten her name, that also collects these, and she wanted this for some reason. So I said, I've got to have one. I want a Weequay head as well. So that's a Weequay head on it with a pink Ewok. This is my Swamp Man Ewok, which came from America. So he goes with the comic line. These are random, so you'll only understand this if you're from England, really. But there's a nightclub in England called Gatecrasher that at a certain period of time in the late 90s, early 2000s was the epicenter for trance music, and all the clubbers that went there used to look like this, basically. Like the girls would wear fluffy boots, and the clubbers would all be in neon and I went there quite a bit. So I said, "Can you make me some raver Ewoks?" So we did. So these are the only ones in existence. So I've got Gatecrasher raver Ewoks.
That's awesome.
Bit random, I know, but that's the Monkey-Lizard lifestyle, I'm afraid. Here's an R5 Xeno and C3PO and R2 Xeno, and I always forget this guy. He's the torture droid, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
What's his name? I forget. I always forget his abbreviation. But anyway, there's the Xeno that goes with him. There he is. He always loses an arm. In fact, I think Tez has lost his arm on his version as well. There's the Amanaman Xeno.
Yep. That's awesome.
Gamorrean Guard Xeno. He's a good one. He's a really good one. And then Dave was like, I got to make some He-Man ones to compete with the other ones. So he made these. And then I was like, for weeks, I was going, look, you can't just sell me Skeletor and He-Man Ewoks. I need Battle Cat. And he was like, I can't. There's no way I can do a Battle Cat. And I was like, Dave, Tauntauns. So he found a couple of cheap Tauntauns for me, painted them up, and no one else has got any of these. I mean, he might have one set, and then he cut all the cloth out and the materials. They don't stay in very well. But I've got the Battle Cat, and what's the other one? What's the other one called? I've forgotten what the other one's called. Battle Cat and Panther, I think it is, or I don't know.
That sounds great. Yep.
Yeah, but these are vintage Tauntauns. So these are vintage Tauntauns and vintage Chief Chirpers, I think, that have just been customized. So I just love these. I just think they're absolute genius. So,
did you see Smirking's comment?
I can't see any of the comments at the moment. Okay. So
he said you do have a lot of Xenos. If we do get a Xeno outbreak on Earth, it may be originated from Salacious Toy Collection.
yeah, for sure. Are you a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, Brandon?
Yep. I loved it as a kid.
There you go. There's the Teenage Mutant Ewok, Teenage Mutant Ninja Ewoks.
Love it.
Yeah. And the time that Dave spent putting all these weapons together, just incredible. So
that's
awesome.
Super
cool. Some Gremlins.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they work really well. This was what's his name from Spider-Man? Mysterio. This is Mysterio. Okay. This is an R2 Mysterio.
Oh, okay.
That I badgered him to make for me, and I was like, "Well, I want a Salacious droid." So this is like a Salacious. And then I went into Salacious, and this is when I started buying up tons of vintage Salacious Crumb figures. And I was like, Dave, paint me. I want a Spirit Salacious. I want a white Salacious. I want a purple one. I was like, I want a Sith Salacious, please. So I've got a Darth Salacious there. And I just went a bit Salacious mad, to be honest. So that was, and then I started pivoting from Ewoks to Salacious Crumb, basically. Right, there you go.
That is awesome. You got a lot of comments on those. Luke Cash, this is literally the weirdest toy collection, and I'm honestly not surprised.
That's just some of them. So that's these are the only ones that I had photos for on my old phone, or that David sent me. So there's more. There are some crazy ones than that. But.
Yeah, lots of comments on it. Luke Cash, we want Ewoks for Ren and Stimpy.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Ewok says, I have the power.
Yes.
Southern Comic Geek up higher said that they have the Ewoking Dead.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that.
The DKE website has the Ewoking Dead.
Oh, yes, I've seen them. In fact, they've just launched a load of new stuff, actually. I saw those the other day. I might buy those. They're on card. They look very good. Yeah, I have to say.
That's really cool. Very impressive, Bob. Yes, absolutely. Here's the tip of the iceberg. There's more.
There is. Because I then started getting into carded customs, which is where these come about. So, well, we'll let you go through the comments a bit more, because there's a few comments, I think, isn't there? And I'll show you some of these cards in a bit, if you like.
Hey, Fets Frequency, what's up? Rebels, Reptiles, and Games, how many Ewok custom total do you have? Ballpark guess.
I don't know. A lot.
Would you say over 100?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love that Salacious droid. Brilliant idea. I think that's a really creative way. I absolutely love those. Somebody said, now I know why the Ewoks are hard to find.
Well, I used to just go on eBay, and and I'll just buy. You can get a low grade for £2. If I saw a low grade for £2, I'd buy it. And there was a period where I was just buying all of them, and yeah. So I do have a bit of an other than customs. I've also got an Ewok army, which is all non-customized. So I just love the Ewoks. They're cute little murder bears, aren't they? You know,
they are. Yep, absolutely. I'm so excited to finally see the Ewok cartoon. I have seen the 2 Ewok movies, but Disney Plus is going to have the Ewok animated show. I believe April 2nd is when they're going to start showing it.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. But if you wanted to show off those carded customs, I'd love to. Love to see them.
Yeah. So okay. So let's. It's basically around the idea of space rats. So, how many are there in total? 3, 6. Oh, anyway, I'll show you. So this is the first one. This is Mike Egan. Let me just move you a little bit, Salacious. So this is Mike Egan. He started the whole space rat thing going, and they haven't customized the figure; they just customized the cards. Okay. And so there's a whole collection of these. So that's the first one. That's the second. So these all came over from America. They're not expensive. You can still buy some of them, and they're not expensive. It's all original artwork. Here's the next one. This one's a bit nuts. Blacked Out Ewok might like this one. This one's a bit psychedelic. There is a face in there if you can make out the eyes.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got it upside down. In fact, the figure is actually upside down in this one. Anyway, So that's a crazy psychedelic one. All right, find some others. I should have taken them out the plastic. This is a Jabba the Hutt one, Jabba Gangster, Hijo de Jabba. I love these ones. I've got a few different ones of these. Love this one.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's cool. Space Rats. Great sketch of Bikram there.
Oh, absolutely.
This one's quite cute. Well, it's cute, but then it says he's an a-hole.
Yeah.
So look at that picture. It's like your little sister's drawn that picture, isn't it? I don't know. It's just it tickles me, that one. I just think it's funny. Right. Oh, this one's quite cool. Who's this one by? This guy's quite famous, I think. Alex Gross, this is, and he does a lot of his artwork is similar to this, similar style. This it's freaky.
Oh,
see that?
Yeah.
He's got his own website with all kinds of paintings and stuff. All of these are on Etsy as well. Not on Etsy, on Instagram. Instagram is the place to go. All the customizers have put their stuff on Instagram. Sometimes it's the only way to buy it. They might make 20. They might make 20 of them, and it's the first people to DM them that gets them. This one's really cute. Look at that one. That's a beauty. Look at that little monkey lizard. There's a little skull down there. Look, Scott C. Yeah, he's a great artist as well. He's got a lot of really cool stuff on his website.
Wow.
What's this one? There we go. This one's quite cool.
Yeah.
So eventually, when I get the monkey lizard lair set up, I'll probably put all these in star cases or acrylic or something, and get a bit of a monkey lizard display going on. So these are the only ones I've got to show. I have got more, but they're all boxed up. So come on, Salacious, what are you doing? All right, Bob. I'm real, you know. Don't bully me around. I was just getting comfortable. So there you go. So there's some of the carded ones.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those.
No worries.
Monkey lizard version of the Grinch. Yep. Somebody else had a good. Oh, it was G.I. Joe Walks. The
monkey lizard version of the Grinch, yeah.
Let's see if I can find that comment. Oh, it was John Joker. Make some GI walks. That would be cool. The custom walks like GI Joes.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's a good idea. On a traditional GI card. Yeah, like that.
See you, Zalu.
See you, Zalu. See ya.
No, that's awesome. I haven't gotten any sort of custom anything for my collection yet, but those seem super fun.
Well, I just wanted to show them to you, just because, once you get into toy collecting, there's all these different avenues to go down. There's vintage, there's modern, and then there's collectibles and merch to go alongside, and the customizing community is like a whole other community.
Right.
And you start getting involved and chatting to some of those guys. Some of the stuff they make is absolutely bonkers. And some of it is like repro to fit in with your collection, and then some of it's more like art or just bonkers pop art kind of stuff. So the Mexican and Polish stuff is weird looking. I bought a Mexican bootleg, modern bootleg Salacious the other day. He looks like he's just been. He looks like his mum's just given birth to him. Look at that thing. Ugly little thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that's a modern bootleg of a vintage crumb mold. So
Left Coast Graphics. Did I miss a wardrobe change? An Ewok Bob Barker and Adam Sandler, so you can have an Ewok Happy Gilmore.
I love Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
I love Happy Gilmore.
It's awesome. I don't know if anybody can see it right up there, but I have a friend from college did a custom art piece, and it's an Ewok with a yellow lightsaber, with the Death Star and an X-Fighter in the background.
That's really cool. That's really some of the best stuff is made by artisans and artists and hobbyists. So I'm always on Etsy trying to find unusual, weird stuff. I just think it adds another layer to your collection, to get some weird stuff.
Yeah. Make some loony Ewoks.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah. To be honest, Brandon, because the Ewoks are so cheap, it's the sort of thing you can have a go at yourself at.
Yeah, true.
I noticed Matt, the Universal Collector, bought one of those Mandalorian bikes. What's the younger wave toys that's just come out called?
Mission Fleet.
So he bought a Mission Fleet bike and then bought some of his own acrylic paints and customized that himself. And it looks really good. So it's the sort of thing that you can play around with yourself. I've bought a load of paint and a load of stuff, but I've yet to start dabbling myself. I'm going to wait until I move in. I've got a studio space to do it, really.
Yeah. Rebels, Reptiles, and Game. This has been a fun stream. It absolutely has.
Thanks. Thank you.
We need a Joker Ewok.
Yes, we do. And that blimmin' John Joker has got me into buying DC stuff now. So I've just bought... Have you seen this? Check that out.
Oh.
That is the Batman... What's it called? It's a crazy bat cycle that goes with this crazy Batman. I actually think these McFarlane toys are nuts. I've kind of gone in. I blame John Joker because I thought I'm not going to get some Jokers for my collection, so I bought that one and I bought another Joker as well, the one in the Gotham. So I'm blaming it purely on John Joker. But look at that bat bike. That's nuts. It was quite cheap as well on Amazon. So there you go. I've started down the DC line now as well. Yeah. Bloody what another rabbit hole that is.
Yeah, I know. I got the animated series Batman from the McFarlane wave line that they have, and I know that they don't really have the DC Direct figures available unless they're really expensive. But I want to get all of the different animated series Batman villains and characters, because that was one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid. Was that animated Batman?
Yeah, I like that. Was a good show. I like that show as well.
Yeah, and especially with HBO Max, you can watch it all right now. And I've been switching between the animated X-Men, Spider-Man, and the animated Batman series every night. Pretty much before I go to bed, I watch one episode. So it's
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was, I think, my first introduction to Spider-Man when I was young. I love that. And I love the Secret Wars figures. So I've got a few of those. I don't know if you've seen those, Brandon, but they come with these weird holographic shields.
Yeah.
Like, they never had them in the cartoons, but I think it was holograms were just a thing in the 80s. So Spider-Man would come with a shield that's got a holographic Spider-Man on it, and so they're quite cool to collect. But yeah, the X-Men animated series as well in the early 90s, I absolutely love that.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
Smirking Bear, I like doing traditional artwork with my geekiness. Currently working on a Northwest Coast painting of Keaton Batman. Nice.
Wow. I'm in awe of people that have that kind of talent, that can do that. Yeah. There's quite a few people in our community that have got talents like that, and I just don't have the skill. It's amazing, right. Really.
Wouldn't be surprised if Salacious had Ewok Transformers.
No, that would be a hard one to bring into reality, but where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose. Yeah.
Need that bike.
I've just started collecting these, Brandon. Have you seen these? These are Dixie cups from Return of the Jedi. So these are vintage paper Dixie cups. And the reason I started collecting them is there's loads of them, but there's 3 different ones that have got Salacious Rum on. So here's another one. It's got Slave Leia. Yeah. And if you come around, look at that little boy. There's one more that I'm on the hunt for. And we never had the Burger King cups in the UK. Right. So I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt for an American Burger King cup that's got. There's one that's got Salacious Crumb on it.
Smuggler's Canyon. What about Packwalk and Big Ewok?
There are some custom figures of Tupac. There are some Star Wars Tupac and Biggie crossover figures already out there. So someone's done those, I think.
Cool. McFarlane stuff is awesome. John Joker's fault. Yeah.
Yeah, I blame John Joker. He's got a lot to answer for, to be honest.
Yeah. Between sleeping and John Joker, they kind of started my hot toy obsession, which is going to get dangerous.
Well, to be honest, there's a lot of people in this community that have a lot to answer for. Yeah. I mean, God knows. I mean, Mark Shabby Geeks probably increased the sales of Black Series, by a couple of % on his own.
Yeah.
Everyone is now trying to finish the 112. I mean, I'm the same. So I'm trying to. I think I've got about 80. So I'm about 30 shy. So I think there's a few of us. 1000's trying to do that now as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're all blaming Mark Shabby Geek on that one, to be honest.
Don't like to keep the pegs warm, yeah. Given the way Twi'leks are in the movie, you could make some serious smut figures with them.
I would totally be down with that. Give me all the Twi'leks. Slavewoks.
Civil War reenactment. Mr. T-Walk. That's a good one.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Mark says he has the Burger King glass.
Yeah, I did see that video when he got that, and I did go, I did look on with envious eyes when he unwrapped that. I have to say, that is a good one. It's just because it's got a little crummy on it, and he looks awesome on that glass. Ewok Ice Cube, yeah. Again, I think there is, believe it or not, I think there are a line of hip-hop Ewoks out there. I'm sure I've seen Ice Cube as well.
It's awesome. I love this community. Hey, Luke, how's it going?
Hey, Luke.
Snoop Doggy Ewok. Dear Lord. I mean, the combinations are endless.
Yes.
That's amazing. You could do full bands with the different size Ewoks. Like, that's really funny.
You do, and you can get into vehicles as well. So I stopped buying stuff from Dave because I was literally spending a lot of money. But if you go on his website, he started customizing TIE fighters and all sorts of stuff. But you can get into vehicles. I mean, I've started putting together my Monkey-Lizard speeder squad. So I've got a ton of speeder bikes that have got Monkey-Lizards driving them. So these mission fleet vehicles are perfect for Salacious B. Crumb figures to drive. So I've got a whole army of them. And what was it before Mission Fleet? There was a series of figures. I'll show you them. I can't remember what they're called, but these all came with vehicles. So I used to buy all the vehicles.
Yeah, I don't know what those
Galaxy something, I don't know. But I've got literally, I'm going to knock them all down. I've got a row of all that size speeder bikes with Salacious Crumb, vintage Crumb sat in them. I don't know why. They just look cool.
Ewok Rambo, they drew first fur.
That's good.
Having a Mr. T-Wok and Rocky Balboa Ewok with a Creed Ewok cheering them on in the background. Does the Action Fleet Jabba have a mini Salacious Rum?
Ooh. Is there an Action Fleet Jabba?
I
don't know. There are some Micro Machine Jabbas that I want that have got mini crumbs that I've got on my watch list on eBay and just never got around to buying.
Xenowok.
Yeah.
You miss the Xenomorph stuff, Luke. Yeah. You guys are interrupting my war zone with these Ewok ideas. I don't mind, though.
The Fujiwoks. Did you see my Fuji? Oh, Mr. Smuggler. Of course he did, because he's been commenting on my. He's been commenting a lot on. I really like Mr. Smuggler. I think I've watched. Mr. Smuggler's got his own YouTube channel now. If you haven't subbed, you need to go over and sub, because I think he's a dark horse in the community because he's doing something very clever. He's doing a video showing the next bit in his collection. But I suspect he's sat on quite a nice collection there because every video he's done to date has been on point. I'm looking forward to continually watching Mr. Smuggler's room unfold, with each little line that he introduces us to. So,
John Wick, they killed my monkey. A Metalliwok. I do that. I love Metallica. Yeah. That was a good one. Ewok Beatles. Ewok.
Oh, I wish I'd have thought of that at the time. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Well, this is going to get you back into it.
Yes, although I'll probably go down the Crumb route now and do Crumb versions of them. But
I'm not sure. It was probably a couple streams ago. Smirking. You are far too kind, Salacious and Bob, and thank you, Brandon. No problem. I am creating a master list. I'm trying to think how many. I've got like 3 pages of just links of people in the collecting and our YouTube channels that I can, if I'm a moderator on anybody's channel, I can just pop their links in.
Hey, BO is making me laugh. Sorry. Hey, we're the Monkey Walks. We've been monkeying around.
I did. Did you see the Zack Snyder cut?
I will not have anybody. Well, in fact, you can say it. You can have whatever opinion you like. I was going to say I'm not going to have anyone. I was on my high horse then. I was going to say I'm not going to have anyone tell me that was bad. Whatever. Everyone has their own opinion. I think Zack Snyder is a goddamn genius. He's an artist. That film for me, bear in mind that it was a bit of a retro fit, of old footage that he'd filmed plus some new stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and it just goes to show what he could have done if they'd have given him some time to get over the family crisis that he bloody had. Now, say what you want about the story and how close or not that may be to various canon, bits of canon. I think you got to give a creator license to, like Feige. The Marvel films do not stick to canon. You've got to give a creator, a creative executive license to interpret the source material how they want. But his films are beautiful. The framing of a lot of his shots is so nice, so pleasing to the eye. And there aren't many directors that consistently create beautiful movies like that. So I think he's a bit of a genius personally, and I think Warner Brothers acted far too quickly. I liked Batman v Superman. I think there was some overhype about a couple of bits, like the Martha bit and whatnot. It was massively overhyped. But I think now, if you watch the Snyder Cut, it makes Batman v Superman a whole lot more coherent as well. So I loved it, Brandon. Sorry, I talk a lot. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And if I were Warner Brothers, I would be giving Zack Snyder the keys to DC Comics and just saying, you plot out the next 10 years and put trust in him to deliver. So there's my money on it.
I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it then. I enjoyed it more than the original theatrical version that we got. And I haven't seen Aquaman and I haven't seen Birds of Prey. But I did see the Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman 84. And I really did like the Snyder Cut, and it to me it felt like the tone was completely different. I know there were a lot of scenes in common, but the way that they were, put together, it just gives you a completely different feeling. And it's hard for me because I'm not sure how many DC movies they did before you get a villain like Darkseid, but people try to compare it too much to what the MCU did with building it up with the Avengers and everything, and then Infinity War. And I feel like you can enjoy both of them without comparing them too much. So I feel like that's it. I think it's unfair to do that to the creators and the directors and the people working on it. So I went into it completely open-minded, and I watched 2 hours at night, and then in the morning I woke up and watched the other 2 hours. And I absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's not right to compare it to Marvel because they're totally different. DC, the characters are gods. They're not normal people that have had mutations done to them. They are the embodiment of living gods. So tonally, it should be different. Marvel, a lot of the Marvel characters are every man that's had something happen to them and has to then go through a hero's journey. DC's not like that. It's a different set of the stories are different. So anyway, I thought it was awesome. If you watch that and then watch Joss Whedon's version, I mean, my God, he butchered Snyder's film. So
yeah, I really, really enjoyed Man of Steel.
Me too.
It set everything up so well for me, and I was like, if this is like the gritty, like awesome DC stuff that we're going to be getting, I'm all for it. So I was excited when Man of Steel came out.
Yeah, me too. I thought Aquaman was a load of nonsense. I did not enjoy that at all. And Birds of Prey, I just couldn't. I don't think I even finished watching it. I thought it was atrocious. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984 yet, so I can't really comment on that. But the first Wonder Woman, Salacious and I were in tears watching the first Wonder Woman. It was a absolutely beautiful film, and when she walks out onto no man's land, that was just incredible. I think the ending tailed away a little bit, but the first Wonder Woman actually reminded me a lot of Christopher Reeve Superman. Very, very pure and very very wholesome, and a really nice and uplifting. Apart from the fact that her boy sacrifices himself at the end, it's a really beautiful story.
Yeah.
So,
let's see here. What do you guys think about the Batman? So that's Pattinson, right?
I really liked it, Brandon. Really liked it. It looks. If I go back to the childish bit in me that likes badassery, it looks badass. Mm-hmm. So he looks like a dark Batman, conflicted. Batman should be conflicted and dark and teetering on the edge of criminality, without, he pushes the envelope, doesn't he, Batman? Yeah. As far as you can go, and that's kudos for whoever it was that picked that Nirvana track, remade the Nirvana track for the advert. Something in the Way is just such a dark track anyway, and then they remixed it and re-edited it with a real dark, deep bass line. I rewatched that trailer 3 or 4 times in a row because I just thought it was incredible.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Anytime I can get any sort of Batman thing, I've loved every single Batman movie that's come out. I came out, like, I was a kid when the like Batman and Robin and Batman Returns came out, so I even love those. And you're a kid and you love all the cheesy dialogue, and I look back and I watch those movies and I still enjoy them. But the Nolan trilogy is awesome, and pretty much anytime I can get Batman on the big screen, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy the movie. But I haven't seen anything about the Doom Patrol.
Not seen it.
Yeah.
Not seen it.
Josh said Wonder Woman 84 was a huge disappointment. I watched it. I was super excited about it. But I would agree. There were a couple of good performances in it, but just without, spoiling anything, it wasn't what it could have been. And it's too bad when you have something that you look at it and you're like, this could be really good, and then it just falls short. So, and Jonathan brings up a good point, is it's the studios giving these directors and these writers, and they're putting them in really bad situations.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with the sequel trilogy too, is it was Disney putting 3 different directors in charge of a sequel trilogy that's supposed to tie everything up, and then one of them dropping out, and then them getting the first director back to tie everything together when the 2 directors that did work on it were absolutely different in their style and approach. So it's disappointing when you have studio interference, and
yeah, you're right. It's where business meets art, and unfortunately, these movies cost a lot of money. On the Star Wars fronts, they invested, was it $5 billion, and the investors want a return on their investment. And so, what they should have done was allowed George to work with some writers in developing, a story, giving them the time to sketch out a story. And the same thing with Warner Brothers. What should have happened is Zach's had this terrible tragedy in his life.
Yeah.
They should have halt production and given him the time to sort it out and then come back. But unfortunately, that costs money, and people have spent. The investors have plowed, 300 or 400 million into the film, and they want They want a payback. So, unfortunately, business meets art, and the art has to give way. And you can kind of understand it. I mean, there's a lot of money being sloshed about. So I just feel lucky that we're in an age, Brandon, where we have all of these this crazy stuff being made. So this is why I don't get into all the hate and all the hate channels. I can't watch them, because outside of YouTube, my life and my work and my career is already bloody stressful and already filled with rules and bureaucracy. And so when I finish work and I come onto YouTube, or Salacious and I are hanging out, I want it to be fun. I don't want to listen to people just be negative and just constantly drone on about negativity. We should be thankful we're in an age where there's so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cool stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
There's always, there's too much cool stuff.
Right.
To be honest.
Like honestly, with the stuff that I enjoy and the hobbies that I have, there's stuff that I haven't, even gotten into that I would enjoy. And it's too bad that people can't focus on the stuff like that they want to go out and find and do, rather than sitting on Twitter or YouTube and bashing stuff that others like.
I'm never going to make one of those videos, and I don't care that it doesn't get me lots of views. It's just not what my channel is about. I'm not, and it's not that I'm not critical. I'll definitely critique. Right. I'll happily critique something in a review, but I'm not going to make a video with a headline, Kennedy out or something. That's just nonsense. It's just, that's not the Monkey-Lizard way of doing things anyway. So.
Yeah. So Luke had a question for you. What's your Warhammer? Was it 40,000 or 40K?
Never got into Warhammer. That was one of the sort of cool things, I suppose, that just passed me by. So I never got into tabletop gaming. For one, I would love to. I would really like to find a group of us that are invested in Star Wars Legion or Star Wars Destiny or something like that. Yeah. I would love to get into that. And I never played Warhammer online on the gaming side. So unfortunately, I haven't got any good swag on the Warhammer front. So
yeah, I don't either. John says superhero movies are a bit like Star Wars. I'm going to find something to like in every film ever made. I even have that Nick Fury movie with Hasselhoff.
That's why I like watching John's channel, because he's a super positive guy and is super positive about stuff, and hasn't got a bad word to say about anybody or anything really. So he's the type of person that I like to hang around with,
Yeah. Rebels, Reptiles, and Games. Heath Ledger, best Joker. For me, it's Mark Hamill, and he may just be the voice of the Joker. But when I watch the animated Batman series, that whenever I think of the Joker, I think of that voice.
Yeah, Mark Hamill, legend. Heath Ledger, legend. I even liked. Oh God, what's his name from the first from Keaton's Batman? I know he wasn't really the Joker, but why can't I think of his name? He's one of the most famous actors ever made.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. I mean, he didn't do an accurate portrayal of the Joker. He did his own thing. Never dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. I always ask that. Just crazy stuff. It wasn't really Jokerish, but he was cool. Heath Ledger. I mean, my God. That's one hell of a performance. I thought that Leto's little bit in the nightmare sequence at the end of Snyder Cut looked promising. So I didn't like the gangster version that he did. I thought that was a lot of nonsense. Yeah. But
yeah, I don't know what it is about the Jared Leto version. I don't like it when it's on my TV screen. Like when I went and saw Suicide Squad and I saw, the little bit that he's in that, I was like,
no, not good. Joaquin Phoenix, that Joker film, my God, that film is frighteningly, it's frightening, that film, on so many levels. That is one hell of a performance. That's the kind of visceral Joker that's that's a dark Joker. That film's incredible. So yeah, he did. They've all been good.
Yeah. I watched Joker and I don't know what it was, but I enjoyed the movie, but I don't know if it's a movie that I'll ever watch again.
It's not an enjoyable movie.
Right.
It's a brilliant movie, but it's a bloody frightening movie because it just brings it's all the bad stuff that could happen to somebody, brings it to the fore, and it's frightening what can happen to somebody given a various set of circumstances. All the mental health and family, and it's an uncomfortable movie to watch. I think it's purposefully uncomfortable, but it is genius. I mean, it is very, very good.
Left Coast Graphics. I think there will now be a Justice League sequel. 100%. It was that good.
Left Coast Graphics. I totally agree.
But they've even said that this version is not the canon version.
So, I think watch this space, Brandon. I think things because they were very careful to talk about the multiverse 2 or 3 times.
True.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Red 5 pre-ordered the Nightmare Batman and Black Suit Superman Hot Toy 2-pack after watching Justice League. I didn't. Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, I was watching Gianni, if it is Gianni, talking to you and the other Pally Boys about Hot Toys the other night on the Pally Boys, and I have to say, I was watching you on my TV, and on my laptop I was on the Hot Toys website.
Yeah.
That's another dangerous rabbit hole. We're talking about collecting. I resisted. I've got a Sideshow Salacious Rum, but it's a 1/6 scale, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I've got. But I don't know if I've got the space. I mean, I haven't got the space. Yeah. But they're works of art, aren't they? Those figures.
They are. Absolutely.
They're incredible. Have you ordered one, or have you got one coming, or you ordered 2?
Multiple.
Oh, you need to be careful, young man. They're not there. What did you order? Or is it a secret?
No, it was supposed to be a secret, but people are pretty good at guessing. And I did mention my favorite character, so I have Qui Gon, which should arrive sometime in May. And my goal for that is I was hoping to reach 1,000 subscribers by the time that arrives. So that's my little incentive, and I look at that Qui-Gon figure and it's like I need one. And then I have pre-ordered the Clone Wars Maul with the robotic legs and the sarcophagus.
He's huge as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I would be. I think that's one that would tempt me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's Sweet. The thing is with this movie, I think the figures for them are going to do really well because the figures themselves look really great, and those Hot Toys specifically, I looked at them on the site and I'm like, man, if I collected, other than Star Wars and I had the money for this, I'd absolutely pick those up.
If they made a Pilf Muck Muck, Brandon, I'll be straight in. I'll be all over it.
I hear some of the suits at Warner Brothers want Snyder for Wonder Woman 3.
I'm not surprised. I bet a lot of people are courting him for work now because, he's certainly helped. It looked like their stock went up the other day. So,
Heath Ledger video morning honoring him. Can't believe it's been 12 years. Wow.
Yeah, has it 12 years? Yeah, it's frightening how quickly the years go by, isn't it?
Animated DC movie released straight to DVD today called Justice Society World War II. Good callback to the beginnings of Justice League Society of America. I've never seen that.
Cool.
Whedon gave us Firefly. Clearly, he's capable of a great filmmaking. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So I wasn't. All I said was that he butchered Snyder's film. That wasn't to say that he hasn't made good stuff before. He totally has. And I loved Firefly and I loved Serenity. I thought they were both super cool.
Yep. And the first Avengers, right? He did the first.
Yeah, I don't think that holds up as well, though, actually, if you rewatch it. I'm not sure that actually... I think it was epic at its time because you see all these characters. But I think if you rewatch the film, I'm not sure it does hold up quite so well. But no, I'm not necessarily against Whedon at all. He's made some cool stuff, for sure.
We are spoiled as nerds. Yes, we are, Luke. We absolutely are. So much anger and hate from the fandom now. So glad you guys are here to make us laugh. Glad we can do that. It's no fun to sit there and sulk and hate everything.
It just takes your mind to dark places as well. If you fill your mind with negativity, I can't. I have too much. Like I say, I was too much of that at work. I don't want it.
Yeah, unfortunately, nice doesn't get attention. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think negativity might get the headlines and large numbers of views, but I think there is still a big audience for positive, constructive dialogue.
Right.
I think that there's enough people out there to engage with. I think.
Luke is saying we could play the X-Wing tabletop game. Yeah, and I've talked to other creators, and it's like it's too bad that that there are so many eyes on the negative stuff that it,
I don't get me wrong, Brandon. I don't want to be all self-righteous and like I never moan or criticize, or I can moan with the best of them. Yeah. I just mean, about your philosophy. What is your principle? What is your philosophy in life, and how does that dictate how you act? And I don't want to put energy into making videos around negative things.
Exactly. Yep. Mark Hamill as Joker in a Batman Beyond movie. Keaton as Old Man Batman. That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Can see Nicholson on the sidelines when watching NBA playoff. Yeah, he's a huge Lakers fan. Hey, Kat, how's it going?
Hey, Kat. You had your coffee today?
Damage tattoo on his face. Like, okay.
Wasn't keen on that.
Joker is one of my all-time favorite films.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, Kat. Saw it 6 times in the... I didn't see it in the theaters. I watched it at home, and I don't think I'll watch it again. Like, it was a good movie, but I can't watch it multiple times.
Yeah, there are other films like that are masterpieces. That one's enough. A Clockwork Orange is a bit like that for me. Have you seen that, Brandon?
I have not seen that.
So that's a Stanley Kubrick masterpiece, made in the late 70s. It's based on a book. It's in the future, and there's really dark, it's rape scenes and stuff like that in there. It's horrific. And it's an incredibly well-made film with really dark, with really dark subtext to it. But once is enough, That'll be. I think you'll find that's the same on that one. So
yeah, Joker is like the Green Mile, amazing movies, but very hard to watch again.
Yeah,
I love the Green Mile.
That's another one. A brilliant film. It makes me cry. I can't watch that over and over.
Yeah. Joker draws from Scorsese's King of Comedy. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yes, it does, yeah.
Val Kilmer's version of Batman was great. Yep. Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze and Danny DeVito's Penguin. Yeah. I cried twice watching the Joker.
Yeah, it got me, to be honest.
Mark's looking at getting another one. Which one is that, Mark? I know he's talked about pre-ordering an Ahsoka.
He's a bad influence, that man.
Yeah. You know you're missing a young Obi-Wan from that Hot Toys duo?
It's true. If you go Qui Gon, you've kind of got to go young Obi as well. And then, well, you've got Maul, so you've got the Trinity. Then I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You walked into that one, didn't you?
Yeah. Ewok figures of the cast of Stranger Things.
Haha.
Hey Matt, how's it going?
Hey Matt.
Glad the whole Gina thing is kind of calming down. It's still, you still see people on about it. Unfollowed a lot of people in other groups who got caught up in the hype and attacked their own. Yeah. At one point, they really wanted Clint Eastwood to play Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond film.
I suspect Clint Eastwood has been tied up to play every character over the years. He's been going for such a long time. I suspect his name's been tagged to everything by now.
Tough movie to watch. Got to be high to watch it.
Yeah.
For some time, you couldn't see it in the UK.
Yeah, probably right at that.
Eastwood would be wild. Yeah. You need the Phantom Minister.
So here we go, Mr. Sleeping. Look at him. Just drop into the chat there with some psychology. We know what you're doing, Mr. Sleeping. We know what you're doing. Brandon. Obi-Wan.
Well, I have talked about the five that I would limit myself to.
Well, you need to go steady because those things are bloody expensive. So,
yeah. And Qui Gon, Ahsoka, Maul, the Clone Wars armored Anakin, and the Clone Wars armored Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Ahsoka would be one for me. I would want Rebels Ahsoka though.
Yeah, with the white cloak and
I just perhaps pre-cloak, just when she was in. I don't know why, but I think the design of Ahsoka in Rebels, is awesome.
Yeah.
And frankly, she's super hot.
Don't think there's a young Obi-Wan hot toy. There is one from Attack of the Clones, so you're safe. Perfect. Oh, skip. Eastwood is a legend on his own. Absolutely.
He is.
And Eastwood.
He does always play himself, doesn't he, really?
Yeah.
The man with no name.
Was tagged for Judge Dredd years ago before Stallone.
Have you seen all the spaghetti westerns, Brandon? Fistful of Dollars.
No.
Have you not seen those? So you need to put those high up on your list.
Yeah.
The music in they're called spaghetti westerns because they were directed by an Italian called Sergio Leone. So it's an Italian directing American Western films, and I think he did a series of there's 3 or 4 of them. And then they were scored by another Italian called Ennio Morricone, and the music in those spaghetti westerns is next level. So I know you've been talking a lot about movies and stuff you're going to watch.
Yeah.
Put spaghetti westerns, get them high up on your list.
All right. He's ordered Ahsoka. Cool.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm going to tell you I pre-ordered Ahsoka as well. So now I have Maul and Ahsoka and Qui-Gon.
Damn.
It's yeah. Mr. T Walk Hot Toys.
Yes.
Wanda or Black Widow. Ooh. That new Wanda looks amazing. The new Hot Toy Wanda.
Yeah. Either.
walking around to people in that chat to push them into the hot toy black.
He is. He's a pusher, man. He's a pusher.
By themselves.
Ah.
Yeah. My grandma, when I go over to her house a lot, we'd watch John Wayne, those ones.
Yeah, they're cool, but honest to God, they're probably more realistic, the John Wayne films, whereas the spaghetti westerns are more stylized, more. I'm trying to find words for it really, but yeah, they were really Mexican Western films. Huh. So yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is incredible.
I know the music from that.
Yes, I remix a lot of that music quite a lot. Well, I used to. It remixes really well in breakbeat sets. It's so good. Ennio Morricone is a absolute. He's like John Williams. He's up there on a different level of talent.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, for a few dollars more is amazing. Marathon Man is a really cool movie. That's quite a dark movie as well, Marathon Man, to be honest. Apocalypse Now, have you seen that?
No,
Brandon?
I haven't seen it. No.
Right, that needs to be high up on your list as well. That is incredible. Again, dark. It's not the sort of thing you're going to rewatch over and over, but insanely good.
Boba Fett is based on Clint Eastwood westerns.
Yeah, you can see that sort of man with no name, wanders into town. Yeah, it's very much got that about him.
Oh, sleeping just ordered Kylo and Maul. Nice. What did you say your name was?
Yeah, that's Clint. I think there's a torture scene in Marathon Man that's quite hard to watch, if I remember right.
Definitely watch those. Even I've seen those.
Dentist bit. Dentist. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's interesting.
Anything Mr. T, I will buy it if I don't have it already.
You crazy fool!
John Joker's going to do a review of the Kylo Ren hot toy. Orf did the Conan soundtrack. OG Godzilla composer.
I love the Godzilla soundtrack. That's another one that remixes really well. In fact, it's been remixed in a number of hip hop tracks. Have you seen Akira before? Mm-hmm. So Akira is probably the most famous Japanese anime film. It's about a 4-hour film. It's absolutely nuts. A lot of it's quite incoherent. But if you're going to watch an anime, that's the first one you should watch. So that's worth checking out. It's a bit of a cult classic now, Akira.
Okay. Yeah.
Some really cool futuristic motorbikes in Akira.
Okay. You have a lot of movies to watch. Yes, I do. I have a list of suggestions, and I'm slowly crossing them off. But collecting bounties, being a badass, Clint Eastwood, and Boba Fett in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Dentist is interesting. That's an interesting way of saying awful.
Yeah. I'm English.
After you watch Apocalypse Now, watch the Making of It documentary. Talk about a living hell of movie making. I've heard about the production of it.
Yeah, it's called what's it called? Something Darkness. It's basically nuts. They're all getting high in the Thailand jungle, I think, and it just all went to pot, and somehow they managed to get a masterpiece out of it. So.
Ewoking Phoenix. Joker Ewok.
I've started something now, haven't I?
Yeah. We're gonna get suggestions all the time now. That's awesome. Outer Darkness.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the name of the documentary.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
certainly did go to pot. Yeah, literally.
Let's see here. Ewoking tall Ewok. Dwayne Johnson. Jesus. The Abyss movie was almost as bad to make. Hell, the actors and crew had to go through was evil. Oh, I didn't know that. I've seen The Abyss.
I like The Abyss. I like movies that involve water, and I'm quite interested to see what he's doing with this Avatar sequel. The jury's out for me on the first one, but this second one is supposed to be underwater. So, and he's supposed to have revolutionized underwater film techniques. So a lot of it was in huge water stages. So it's going to be interesting.
Bananas. How does Salacious like that?
Where's bananas? What? Who said it? Where's the bananas? Come on, everyone. Drop me some space bananas in the chat and hit the like button. Hit the like button if you're in favor of space bananas.
Dwayne the Ewok Johnson. Can you spell it? Japanese animation films can be so phenomenal, especially. That's something that when I was younger, I watched like Dragon Ball Z and a little bit of Naruto, but I haven't. I think Full Metal Alchemist is the only other like anime that I've ever truly sat down and watched. That's something that I just haven't gotten into. So
there was a phase in the 90s where I said anime, it's manga, I think. These films were called. Yeah. Was the brand anyway. And it got quite popular in England. Ghost in the Shell was another one I think that jumps to mind, was quite enjoyable. But so a lot of it's incoherent, to be honest, but it's just a very cool animation style.
I wasn't going to like it. Space Banana.
Salt me too. Yeah, James Cameron's a nutcase.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I did enjoy it.
I've not seen that, so.
Oh, I mean, I'm not one to say what's good and what's not, but I enjoyed watching it, so it can't be that bad.
I think you just have. I think your opinion is as valid as anyone else's, Mr. Brandon.
Thank you. I've probably finished over 300 anime series. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the better.
Well, there's the man to go to. It's Luke Cash if we want any anime advice.
Cannot wait for the Avatar sequel. Endgame had to theatrical re-release to finally kick that movie off its pedestal and introduce an unreleased scene. Yeah, I think it's just going to keep going back and forth. I think they'll probably do a re-release of Avatar to build up anticipation for when the sequel's coming up, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Avatar sequels. I think they're he's James, hate him, hate him, whatever. He's a genius. You can't question his credibility. He's made half a dozen films and they've all been incredible on some level. Even Titanic. I say what we like about it, but he rebuilt a scale model of the Titanic. I mean, it's just, who does that?
Yeah.
Not a 1-to-1 scale, obviously, but a pretty damn big scale model anyway. I mean, who does that? And then just for fun, he went to the bottom of the ocean. Just for a laugh. He's a nutcase.
Yeah, Legend of the Overfiend was another manga that sticks out.
I've not seen that one, but I that does ring a bell.
Oh, it already did. It's the top earning movie once again. I'm not the anime advice guy. I just got home from work and started injecting that stuff in my veins like heroin. He's a madman, but he makes great movies, very Kubrick-esque.
He does. Yeah. I did not like the last Terminator though. Dark Fate. I know he didn't direct it, but I think he had a hand in the story. I thought it was awful.
I still haven't seen that.
If you're a Terminator fan, don't watch it.
I am, and I think my mom, who's a big Terminator fan, she went and watched it and said, "Don't go see this one."
No. Oh, Ewok Smurfs. That's an idea.
Don't think Avatar 2, 3, and 4 will do as well. The original was okay, but the key factor was the 3D, which won't factor in today's market.
Yeah, but he's making up new technologies for these movies. That's the thing. Right. So this underwater thing will have some kind of crazy technology that he's using that no one else is doing. So
gummy Ewoks.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
There we go. Gilster's giving some
Gilly. Gilly. Thanks, Gilly. Always rely on Gilly.
Yep. All right. Well, we're about the 2.5 hours, which is usually where I do these streams, between 2 and 2.5. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and thanks everybody in the chat. Those custom Ewoks are super cool, and it was, I always like being able to talk to other collectors, and I know that I'm just a recent collector, but it's so cool to hear just what different people have in their collections and how they got started. So it really was a fun chat, and I'm glad that you wanted to come on, and that you had a good time.
Oh, well, thanks for having us, Brandon. I've really enjoyed it. I know Bob has. Yeah, we've loved it, Brandon. It's been a lot of fun. It's been awesome. You're such a nice dude anyway. It's hard. I think everyone that meets you, it's hard not to instantly fall in love with our ApprenticeEwok. Such a good-hearted fella. And actually, there's I think a lot of us older folks like encouraging younger collectors a little bit. It's like, well, see if we can get them into this. There's something quite. I think it's a bit like if you've got a lad and you want to get your lad into Star Wars. It's a bit like that, really. Yeah. But we've had a lot of fun, and are honoured to be on your channel. So thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it is really fun because I have gotten a lot of encouragement and advice from people who have been collecting a lot longer than I have. So I'm really grateful to everyone in the chat who has suggested anything to me, who has given me advice. This community is really amazing, and it's awesome to see the same people in pretty much all of our streams chatting and supporting each other. So
is it all right if I give a little plug to something that's going on later?
Yes. You absolutely can.
I appreciate that. So you guys probably know that every week we do a stream called the Free Men and the Monkey-Lizards. Free Men and the Monkey-Lizard. We're on Sean Solo's channel tonight, and we've got an amazing guest. As far as I'm concerned, he's YouTube royalty. It's the Imperial Communique. And yes. He is, if you've never seen any of his videos, we're talking about collectors today, and he is on another level of collecting. His collection's insane, and the other thing about Mr. Imperial is he's a professional cameraman and effects artist, so his videos are next level. So we're going to have a lot of fun interviewing and chatting to Mr. Imperial tonight. So if any of you in the chat can come over, it's on Sean Solo's channel later on tonight. I think Brandon's dropped the link. It's either, I think it's at 11 o'clock UK time. I don't know what.
So 7 p.m. Central time. So 5 o'clock Western or Pacific, and then 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, it'd be great to have you if you can come over and trust me, it'll be a really interesting show because he's working on a Hollywood production at the moment that he won't tell us what it is. So we'll see if we can get that out of him. But thanks to everyone in the chat as well for supporting us. It's been awesome today.
Has been awesome. Thank you, Luke. Luke was one of the early people, so it is awesome to see it all kind of coming together. But all right, I'm going to end it there. I want to thank everyone. Salacious and Bob, thank you so much for coming on.
And of course, our channel, is Salacious, is youtube.com/Salacious Rum.
Yep.
You put in, and you can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. Sorry, I'm always selling as well, Brandon. Not for money, but you can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram @Salacious Rum. So love to engage with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon.
No, it's all good. All right. Hope everybody has a good remainder of their day. May the force be with you. Yub nub.
See you, everyone.